All right, y'all. So a lot of you guys liked this video last time, so we're gonna make another one now. On this one, it might have some extra details that I didn't talk about in the last one. Just wanted to go over the nuances and everything, but also I was gonna keep this one a little bit more clean. I know a lot of people complained about cussing, and I only live to please others, so I apologize about the cursing, and it won't happen again. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, here's the deal, guys. We all talk a certain way behind closed doors, and then out in front of people we care about what people think, so then we try to like talk a certain way, and I don't like that bullshit. Like on YouTube I get to actually like be myself. So if someone follows me, that means they like this, but if they don't follow me, that means they don't like it, which is cool, because people just don't like you a lot of the times in real life, but they act like they like you in front of your face, which is just like bullshit, and I'm tired of bullshit. So I just like to be straightforward, straight shot. And the reason a lot of people are overweight these days is because we keep lying to them and saying, no, it's fine, it's okay, and then you go home and you're like, yo, that's a fat bitch. Like shit like that. Like that's messed up. Why don't you tell her in real life, like when she's like, I'm struggling with losing weight, and you're like, no, you're okay. You look perfect how you are. Why don't you tell her like, okay, here are some ways that can help, and you'll feel better when you do. Like y'all just be lying to people, bro. So I'm not gonna do that shit. I'm not gonna lie to people. All right. If I cuss, I cuss. I don't give a shit. All right. So the truth about eating lean, guys, changing your eating habits, like I always say, is a lifestyle, guys. And this word lifestyle change, you need to realize what that means. You need to realize what that means. That means that you prioritize going hiking, all right, over just drinking all weekend and eating like shit. All right. When am I going to renew this shit? But anyways, it means you prioritize going hiking. It means you prioritize eating healthy because you enjoy how you feel and you want to prevent diseases in the future, right? It means that you're proactive, not reactive. One of the biggest things, a lot of people are reactive. They get this type 2 diabetes, right? And then they're like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know what happened to me. I know what happened to your ass. You was eating too much damn food, eating too much candy, and you're very, very sedentary. The great news about it is that it is reversible. It's not type 1. Type 1, only 5 to 10% of the population have type 1. All right. And then they say, oh my God, like type 2 is 90%. And they're like, oh my God, it's genetic. No, it's not, guys. It's your eating habits, which is a great thing. That means you have control over it. But you got to make those changes. Eating is like 80, 90% of the results when it comes to the gym, all right? 70 to 80%, let's say something like that, right? It's very, very important. Our whole lives, we've been told that eating healthy is a diet. Bro, eating healthy is normal shit. That's why it's called eating healthy. Why would we normalize something called eating unhealthy? It's called unhealthy and we normalize that shit. Can you guys stop and think about that for a second? The shit is called eating unhealthy and we normalize it. But when you eat quote unquote healthy, how is that a diet? It's healthy. It's like, bro, the world's backwards, bro. Being a bad boy is what chicks like. Being a good boy is bad. Like what the hell's going on in this world, yo? Is that not crazy to you? And then eating healthy is what the hell are you doing? Why are you eating like that? Eating unhealthy is like, hey, let me get some fried chicken. Insane, yo. Insane. All right, guys. Eating donuts, candy, drinking soda is normal in society. Doesn't mean it should be normal for you. All right. Eating steak and protein shakes is not normal for some reason. Every time you do that shit, go to work, bro. Go to work and eat some steak and see what they say to you, bro. Every time I eat work, I mean eat work at steak. Every time I eat steak at work, people are like, "Oh my god, what are you eating? Why are you eating that?" And I'm like, bro, all of you guys are nurses. All of you guys should know that this is healthier than what the hell you're eating. The fried chicken, pizza, and wings, and Jamaican food, and Haitian food. How do you even eat all of that at once? How is no one here dead? How is no one here dead? It's insane. And then they eat these throughout the day at the nurse's station. They always got some candy. So it's crazy to me. It's like, how is this normal? All this fake shit, but eating steak and eggs isn't. So that's why you can't pay attention to what people say, right? You just got to make sure that you focus on your own health, your own nutrition, and you do the best that you can because everybody else is just going to do, what's normalized, whatever's normalized, and then they'll pay the consequences later. But if you stay proactive and you stay consistent, hyper aware, you're going to realize that everything they're doing doesn't align with their goals. So you need to do what you need to do to align with your goals. Because at the end of the day, you are responsible for you. They're not responsible for you. So they can laugh at you, but when your health is better than theirs, who's really laughing, right? Change how you view foods, guys. A hunger pain specifically doesn't mean you're starving. A lot of you guys get one hunger pain, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta quit this diet. Like I gotta eat, and I'm like, yo, why'd you quit your? You told me you was gonna lock in. What happened, man? Remember 2 months ago we talked like, yeah, I got a hunger pain, and I was like, yeah, I gotta eat so I don't die. I'm like, bro, you're 300 pounds overweight. You're not gonna die, bro. All right. If anything, your body's just gonna eat away at the fat, so you probably need a few hunger pains is gonna be okay. All right. It's a very small sacrifice. Like we've normalized that you have to eat until you're full. You have to overeat this, especially in the black community. In the Caribbean culture, like you gotta fill up your plate. You gotta eat till you're full. We don't pay attention to calories. When in reality, you should be paying attention to calories, nutrients, micronutrients, instead of paying attention to how full you feel. Because if you eat a bunch of junk food or you eat it like a lot of empty calories to feel full, you'll end up eating more overall calories versus if you eat a little bit of, whole foods. If you eat a little bit of whole foods, for example, if you eat, steak and a sweet potato and broccoli, it can be 600 calories worth and you'll be super full for the next 4 hours. Versus if you eat, rice, fried chicken, you have some cake afterwards because you still had some room to eat. And then after that cake, you drink some soda and a margarita or something. That's like 3,000 calories right there, but you ate till you're full. So those are two scenarios where you eat till you're full, but the calorie range is obviously different, right? Because volume. That's how volume works, right? So you can't go based on how quote unquote full you feel. That's not how you eat. That's not how you're supposed to eat. That has nothing to do with like, whether you're eating enough calories. Because like I said, you can eat, me personally, I could eat a whole family size bag of Doritos and I'm not full. Does that mean I should eat more? You see what I'm saying? That's like the kind of logic a lot of people have. They're like, well, I was eating, but I wasn't full, so I must be only eating 1,000 calories. No, you're just eating foods that are low in fiber, low in protein, because foods with volume are going to include high protein foods, foods with fiber, water intake. All that affects your stomach volume. All right. Now, please realize that everything that you've learned up to now, you might have had certain cultural norms, you might have had certain, people around you, or, you're the sum of the five people you're around the most. So you might have had like a lot of environmental reasons why you eat the way you do, and you've created bad habits. That's fine. That's normal. Everyone has bad habits. Everyone falls into the herd mentality, whether it's positive or negative. Now, if you have bad habits and they're not conducive to your goals, what you got to realize is, okay, I've learned bad habits from, maybe parents, maybe friends, maybe cousins, things like that, right? But you got to realize that you have the power, you have the initiative to actually change those habits so they can align with your goals. Because if you have bad habits that don't align with your goals, guess what you do? You change those bitches so they align with your goals. It's that simple, guys. So chips, fried foods, fast foods are all addictive. So if you've been eating them for a while and you feel like you can't get off of them, remember that they're addictive. Once you realize they're addictive, you're like, okay, so it's okay that I'm, addicted to sugar or chips and fried food, but it's not okay to stay addicted to those foods. I got to replace, processed sugar with natural sugars. I have to replace chips with other snacks. I have to replace fried foods with baked foods, fast foods with foods at home. You see what I'm saying? So if they weren't addicted, we wouldn't be in an obesity epidemic, guys, a belly fat epidemic, a big ass stomach epidemic. We wouldn't be in that if they weren't addicted. But they are addictive. It's simple. It's honestly like when I worked in drug detoxes and I saw like people addicted to heroin, people addicted to alcohol, all those things. It was very similar to the food addiction that people have because there's the denial factor to it, and there's the fact that they're doing it to the point where it's affecting their health. And a lot of people do that with food and sugar. They eat so much sugar that they get type 2 diabetes. And even though they have type 2 diabetes and the cause is their sugar habits and their binging habits, they continue to do it even to a fault, right? So that just shows you that it is addictive because nobody ever wants to actually do something, until it harms them, right? But they're so addicted that they can't control it. All right, so guys, when you're trying to lose fat or gain weight or maintain weight, typing it into a calorie calculator is going to give you a very rough estimate. That is a good start. All right, now another thing is when you use MyFitnessPal, you can use MyFitnessPal, guys. You can use MyFitnessPal. Listen up, you can use MyFitnessPal and it'll type some stuff in for you. I'm not sponsored by MyFitnessPal, but I'm just saying it'll kind of like give you a rough estimate. But just tracking your calories gives you hyper awareness, which is the only reason I really do recommend it. It really gives you hyper awareness when it comes to food, and you'll realize you're overeating carbs and fats, and you're under eating protein severely. Now, I like to, for macros, do zero point 0.7 to 1 gram per pound goal body weight. And the reason it's so low and it's not 1.5, I've seen people say eat 2 to 3 grams. Nobody's eating 2 to 3 grams of protein. That shit's just not sustainable. Maybe some bodybuilders do that shit. But in reality, people aim for like, for example, someone will be 200 pounds trying to get down to 160, right? Or 170. They might be 5'8", 200 trying to get down to 170 or 160, right? And they'll be like, bro, I was aiming for 250 grams of protein. This shit was hard. So I got it for 3 days and then I quit. I went back to my old diet. Their old diet has like 50 grams of protein. So they do 250 grams of protein for 3 days, quit for the rest of the year, eat 50 grams of protein for the rest of the year. When in reality, if they aim for 0.7 to 1 of their goal body weight, which would be anywhere from 140 to 170 grams of protein, what would have happened is they would have been able to maintain that for the whole year, and they would have consumed way more protein during the year, and they would have reached their goals and had a different body composition. So stop aiming for unrealistic bullshit like 3 grams of protein per pound body weight. There are some people who could do 1 and 1.5. Those are experienced lifters and people who are super, super, dialed in. But if you're just trying to lose fat and maintain muscle and you're not trying to compete, like me, then you should not be, doing more than 0.7 to 1 because that's what's going to be sustainable year round, 365 days a year. I hit these numbers 365 days a year. All right. Now, when it comes to shopping, guys, this is one of the key things. All right. When you go around the grocery store, you want to stay on the perimeter of the grocery store. Right? Stay on the perimeter. You see how that's where all the fruits and vegetables are. That's where everything with low ingredients is. You want everything to have 3 ingredients or less in it. Honestly, now of course, every once in a while you'll throw other things in there like some freezer stuff that's not too unhealthy. But the more ingredients you have in certain foods, the more addictive it will be, or the better for you it will be, or the more bad or better. Oh my gosh, I don't know my superlatives. Okay, better it'll be for you. All right, the worse it'll be for you. There we go. So if you get something in the middle aisle and it has like 1,000 ingredients in it, it's probably gonna hurt your stomach, number one, but it's probably gonna have a negative effect on you as well. These foods on the outside, they're usually a little bit healthier, especially the organic, like specifically vegetables and fruits. The organic ones will be good, or the frozen ones are good too for the fruits and vegetables. I'll do like frozen fruits because and frozen vegetables just because obviously they last longer. And sometimes they say some of these have pesticides. There's a lot going on, but fruits, vegetables, lean meats, keeping it simple is going to be very, very important to you. All right, like the ground turkey, the ground beef, keeping it simple is how it works. Like a lot of people are like, I don't know what to eat. Look at this: ground beef, ground turkey, salmon, eggs, cheddar cheese, chicken thighs. You know what you're eating is wrong, so you know if you eat the opposite of what you're eating, it's going to be healthy. Like if you're eating fried chicken but you eat baked chicken instead, you know that's a good alternative. If you're eating fries but you make sweet potato fries or you make air fried white potatoes, you know that's way better. Literally like half the calories. All right. Now I don't say avoid like a lot of foods and shit like that, but like I'm not gonna say like avoid this is that. But in reality, like there's a lot of foods that are super addictive, right? And obviously these foods are bad for GERD anyways. Like if you have acid reflux at all, these are horrible for it. But like these foods just do not have any benefits. Like they just don't. Like a lot of you can have fried foods every once in a while, but if you're on your journey and you're severely overweight and you're waiting for like you're like I need a cheat meal. If you're like 100 pounds overweight, you had enough cheat meals. You don't need a fucking cheat meal, okay? So avoid candy, processed sugars, fried foods, chocolate, which is basically processed sugar. Liquor is not going to be conducive to your goals. There's literally no benefits to liquor, guys. Avoid juices and cook majority of your meals at home. If you do these things right here, you will literally notice your body composition improving, your health improving, your energy improving, your anxiety levels improving, your mental clarity improving, all of those things. All right, best timing for foods. So should you eat, 16 hours fasted and then do 8 hours, or should you do, 4 hours of eating and 20 hours of fasting? If you're working overnight, should you skip meals? The bottom line is your overall calorie intake and protein intake at the end of the day. Because I've worked so many different shifts and I kept anytime I wanted to reach my goal, I would focus on what? Protein intake and calories overall. All right. So I worked 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and I still ate during my shift. I ate full meals to prevent me from binging when I got off my shift. And guess what? I still lost fat. All right. So it's going to be your overall calories at the end of the day, guys. There is no perfect time to eat or whatever. I know a lot of people do fast and they swear by it, but it simply is a means to an end. It's one of those things that can help you eat less. But a lot of people, they'll break the fast and they'll eat crumble cookie or they'll binge eat because it just doesn't work for them. So it'll work for some people. It won't work for others. If it works for you, then good. But realize the reason it's working is because you are in a calorie deficit, not because you are fasting. All right. A lot of you guys think it's because you're fasting. It's because you're in a calorie deficit. Because if you were to eat for 16 hours and fast for 8 while you're sleeping, you would get the same exact results. All right. So don't mix that shit. Like a lot of you guys don't realize that the reason you lose fat from different diets or these different fads that you do is because you're in a calorie deficit, not because carnivore is magical. Like that shit's not magical. It's literally just because you're in a calorie deficit. All right. Calm down. Motherfuckers are crazy. All right, so yeah, for me personally, when I started, obviously it was around 2,600 calories because I was pretty big, 226 to 230 ish, and then once I got down to like 210, I decreased them again because I was trying to speed up the process, obviously. So I just like decreased them every once in a while. If I was like, you know what, I'm eating a little bit much. I feel like I could definitely eat less and still get to my goals, and it'll still be sustainable for me. So I'll kind of drop them, right? So I kind of fill it out to drop it, and I do not want to increase cardio because for me personally, if I do like extra cardio, it doesn't have the same effects as if I like decrease the nutrition, right? Or like decrease the calories overall. It doesn't have the same effect. Like it usually goes into my recovery and I feel like weaker. I feel like, in the gym when I'm lifting and then I feel tired, more tired. So I definitely I was about to say tireder, which is not a word, but yeah, which I want to maximize my muscle maintaining. And a lot of you guys are like, how'd you maintain muscle and how did you not get saggy skin? Because guess what? I kept the cardio to a minimal and I focused on strength training, maintaining my strength and high protein calorie deficit. That's the things I focused on. All right, that's why I like to overall decrease my calories instead of, like I said, instead of just like increasing cardio like crazy, because like there's going to be interference effect. Like if you do too much cardio and you're doing strength training, now your body's trying to recover from both, and then you feel sluggish, and now your strength training suffers because you did too much cardio. Like that's what happens to me specifically. All right, environment, guys. So you guys all know you're the sum of the five people you hang around the most. And here's what you got to do. If someone jokes about your goals or they don't respect them, you cut them off, guys. You don't play around about it. It's very serious. Little things like that are things that people do not notice. You don't notice that when you're like, yeah, I'm about to get lean, and someone says, no, you're not. You don't notice how much that affects you, especially if that person's close to you. And it's going to seep into your brain. And if you accept that thought as yours, which if you see them every day, you probably will, it's going to affect you in the long run and you won't reach your goals. All right. So as you can see, they're both leaner than me. They both have bigger shoulders, bigger traps. Like they're locked in. All right. So if I'm around them, I'm gonna be leaner. But then when I'm not around them, people are gonna be like, "Oh, how are you that lean?" But in reality, these are the people I'm around. Right. They're super lean. They're super locked in. They're consistent. So if I say some shit like, "Man, I don't I don't feel like working out today," they can be like, "Man, shut your bitch ass up. Let's go, man." But the amount of times we did that, because I went to go link with them in Houston. This is Alpha Land. So I went over there. Man, we worked out like freaking like 2 times in one day. It was like we worked out in the morning. We were all like, bro, I'm sore, bro. I can't move anymore. I can't move. I can't move. And then we were all like, you know what? Let's not be bitches. Let's do a second workout today. So we did like 2 workouts, man. We are just going in, man. But like just pushing each other and keeping each other accountable and stuff like that. Like I'll hit them up. I'd be hitting them up every once in a while, and they'd be hitting me up. And we follow each other on Instagram and stuff just to make sure we're on track. Because if any of us see any of us fall off, like if I see if he sees me fall off, if I see him fall off or anything like that, we about to text him like, hey yo, what the hell's going on with you, bro? Like, why aren't you locked in? You know what I mean? You don't need any negative energy regarding your goals. All right. So anyone that has negative energy regarding your goals, that's fine. That's their opinion. Just get away from them. All right. Cut them off. Get them out of your life. What do you do if you plateau, guys? What should you do if you plateau? Now, in reality, a lot of people always think they plateaued, but the fact of the matter is that they're simply something happened, right? They're either incorporating an extra meal. Like for example, if I ever quote unquote plateau, I realize that I'm having an extra snack after dinner, and that's putting me closer to maintenance. So I'm stopping the weight loss process, or have decreased activity, right? Which is why you got to track all these things. You got to track everything: your weight, your waist size, and then also your activity levels, right? So if your initial activity level is 5,000, and then at the middle of your cut, you stop losing and your new activity level is like 1,000. The reason is because your activity level went way down. So you don't have the same, you shouldn't be eating the same amount of calories. You should be eating less if you're doing less activity. So what you got to do, re-up your activity to the initial level, right? Or somebody will have 1 week where they don't lose any quote unquote weight, but they lose an inch off their waist, but they're only checking the scale. So they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't lose anything. I must have plateaued. And in reality, you just gain muscle and lost fat. So it's not that big of a deal. And your weight goes up and down anyway. So a lot of people just tend to panic really early. You got to realize when you're in the weight gaining process, however long it took you to gain weight, when you're in the weight gaining process, you're probably going up and down consistently, but you weren't tracking your weight, so you weren't worried about it. But that's how you gain weight. You were consistent. So same thing with losing weight. If you want to lose weight and lose the fat, you got to be consistent. The weight's going to go up and down. You got to realize that as long as you're putting the inputs in, the output's going to happen. If your goal is to lose 50 pounds and you continue to be in a deficit and you execute every single day, you get your sleep, eventually you're going to drop the 50 pounds. Because what did I just say? You're in a deficit, you're consistent in the gym, and you're getting sleep. The weight's going to come down. Whether it takes 4 months, 6 months, 7 months, it doesn't matter because it's going to come off. Like, y'all got to realize that shit. Y'all be thinking if it doesn't all come off in the time that you want it to come off, that it's not going to come off. It's going to come off. If you're in a deficit, the weight's coming off. All right. The only thing that can stop it is yourself. You convince yourself that it's not working, and then going back to your old habits, which is what a lot of you guys do. All right. Now, meals I actually ate. I know you can't see this because I don't know why I did this, but listen up. I literally just ate this before I got on here. 3 eggs, 3 egg whites, cheese, and then I didn't do bacon today. I did tater tots today, but I'll do bacon, oatmeal, like oatmeal packets, or I'll do English muffin. You can see right here. This is my go-to. This is probably my favorite one because it's super filling. Because listen, you got the eggs, you got the protein from the eggs, you got the fat from the bacon, and then you got the fiber and the carbs from the English muffin. That keeps you full, bro. That keeps you full. Lunch and dinner today, I'll have. Let me skip this one. I'll have ground beef today. Actually, ground beef tacos, right? And then next week I'll have some teriyaki chicken and yellow rice probably. All right, go-to snacks. We got protein shakes, protein bars. Very simple stuff, guys. Listen, when you keep stuff simple, you're going to be able to repeat it more. And here's the thing: like I've worked with some people, and thank God they've been straight up with me. But I've worked with some people, and they're like, "Yeah, man, like I just get bored of the same meals." And I'm like, "Listen, we talked about this already. When we got on the initial call, you ate the same thing every day to get fat as hell. So in order to lose fat, you got to keep the foods pretty simple as well, because that's really how you're going to get lean anyways. Like why when you get lean, you all of a sudden want to eat all these varieties of foods and shit like that. But when you get fat as hell, you don't care what you're eating. You're eating the same thing every day, right? So like when you're getting lean, you're going to be eating the same foods you're eating. When you're getting fat, it's just going to be made differently. Like for example, you're still going to be eating chicken. It's just going to be baked chicken thighs, air fried chicken thighs instead of fried chicken thighs. You're still going to be eating rice. It's just not going to be 17 cups. It's going to be like 1 or 2 cups. You know what I mean? So it's going to be portion size. So we're not like when you get lean, you're not creating new foods. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of people, I feel like when a lot of people are trying to get lean, they think that someone's going to create new foods for them, and then be like, okay, yeah, so this tastes like fried chicken, but it has 1/4 of the calories. Awesome. Like no, that's just not happening. All right, you got to make this a lifestyle change, but you got to realize like if you don't do what you got to do to get the results, you're obviously not going to get them. Like I don't know what you guys be expecting. Y'all be expecting some crazy shit. Y'all be like, yeah, man, like I got bored of this, and it's like, bro, how did you not get bored of getting fat as hell, being sluggish, and eating the same Chick-fil-A meal every single day when you're gaining weight? But for some reason, you're bored of 10 different options you have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner when you're trying to get lean. It's just an excuse. All right, excuses are lame. I don't believe excuses. You don't believe them, so don't even say them to me. You see what I'm saying? Fruit, yogurt, all that stuff is good too. And you got to remember, all this stuff, as long as it fits in your calories, is also good. But these have like antioxidants, micronutrients, fiber in it. That's why I usually have, a lot of these. All right. Sweet tooth. All right. So the more processed sugar you eat, the more processed sugar you're going to crave. All right. Eating high fiber, protein rich diet with more complex carbs, it's going to get rid of that sweet tooth. All right. When you eat more consistently throughout the day, you're eating more complex carbs. It's going to keep your blood sugar stable longer, like sweet potatoes, oatmeal, things like that. It's gonna keep it stable longer. And a lot of you guys, you have a sweet tooth because you try to starve yourself in the beginning of the day, and then by the time 9 p.m. comes around, this is what you're doing. This is exactly how you look at 9 p.m. This is you. Yep, that's you. So next time you have a sweet tooth, just look at this shit. This is what you look like. All right, stop doing this. So you need a tiny bit of willpower, of course, because if your habit is eating ice cream at night, obviously to break a habit, you're gonna have to have some kind of active self-awareness as well. All right. So it's not gonna happen overnight. A lot of you guys just want to lose the sweet tooth in one day, and when you don't, you think you failed. No. It takes time to lose the sweet tooth. All right. How long does it take? It could take you 1 month, 2 months, could take you 3 months, right? It's just when it clicks in your head, right? And then you actually stay consistent. All right, so some sweet tooth snacks. Like I usually don't like doing this because, like I said earlier, if you really just eat higher fiber, protein rich diet and you're consistent, you'll be good. You avoid processed sugar, replace it with natural sugar, you'll be good. But if you for some reason still have a sweet tooth, you got Halo type ice cream. If you binge on this whole thing, it's 330 calories. So the guilt is like gone. And then if you put a 5-1 brownie on the bottom and you put these on top, that's 400 calories, which is literally the equivalent to like half a cup of Ben and Jerry's. So that's pretty good. Yasso bars are 100 calories. Atkins has these peanut butter cups that they taste pretty good. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. And then there's dark chocolate. Obviously, you got to portion size it out. Yogurt parfait and sherbet, all of those. So if you really, really have a sweet tooth, leave these in the freezer. And if it's just one of those days where you're just a little hungrier than usual, then that's fine. You can go get some Halo Top, one of these foods and things like that. Because the alternative would have been you just getting like 2 packs of gummies, which would have been like 1,500 calories and like 150 grams of sugar. Now, I know you might be asking, why are my recipes so simple? So simple. Now, the reason I have simple recipes is so they can be repeated. Simplicity gets repeated. All right. When you play football, guys, what do? You do the same warm ups every time, and then they're like, okay, DBs go over here, linebackers over here. And what do the DBs do? You do the W drill. You do all the same shit, right? Why do you do the same shit over and over? Because those things are the fundamentals, and they get results, right? It doesn't mean you change them up. You don't change what's working. All right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You guys don't realize that. I'm not spending 4 fucking hours in the gym making a protein pizza that I saw on TikTok. That shit is dumb as hell. This was what, 20 minutes in the air fryer. This was microwavable rice and microwavable broccoli. But if I made the rice, it would still take, I could put it in a rice cooker. Like the shit is quick. It's some quick shit. It doesn't take that long. A lot of you guys are always trying to do these dumbass recipes you see on TikTok. You can't do that all the time. If you have a very, very big craving for pizza and you make a protein pizza, that's cool. But that's just not something you're eating every single day. You're just not going to do that. You're not going to make a new recipe every single day. If you're meal prepping and you have to make a pizza and like a complicated pasta recipe and all that shit, it's just going to take too long. So you're going to spend 24 hours. You're never going to want to do it again. Simplicity, guys. Simplicity is key. Everyone that I know that's lean, by the way, I always say this, bro, they eat rice and lean meats. You eat rice, potatoes, pasta, lean meats. You don't make these crazy ass recipes with all. making your own, sauce that takes 87 hours. Like we don't do this shit. Mistakes to avoid, guys. Now, when you're first starting off, like I said, you want to weigh your foods. Why do you want to weigh your foods? The reason you want to weigh your foods is because it's going to give you more awareness. That's the most important thing. It'll give you more awareness. I'm not saying weigh your foods to be, anal about it and to be crazy, but honestly, it'll give you more awareness. When I started weighing my foods, I realized I'm under eating protein and I'm overeating carbs like crazy and sugar. So I wouldn't realize that if I didn't track. And a lot of you guys don't realize that either. You're like, I'm eating good. You can eat healthy food and gain weight, right? And gain fat if you're in a surplus. Now tracking numbers in the gym. You definitely want to track your numbers to maintain your muscle mass, but also to make sure that you're, like I said, you're making progress as well. You want to track your waist size too, because if you lose 0 pounds in the first 2 weeks, you could possibly be gaining muscle and losing fat, but you wouldn't know unless you measured your waist size, right? Because that's why your clothes will be fitting different too. Not taking progress pictures. A lot of times you see yourself in the mirror every single day, so you're not going to realize when you make a huge, significant change. You're not going to realize when you lose, a lot of waist size. You might be like, oh, these pants are kind of big, but maybe it's just because, it's slippery, or you'll just make an excuse because you'll downplay your own success. You cannot downplay statistics or objective facts. That's why when you track that waist size, when you're down 4 inches, you're down 4 inches. You can't negotiate with that. That's not opinion. That's a fact. When you take a picture, you put it side by side with your before, and you can see the waist size gone. You can't negotiate with that. You're not shallow how, bro. You're actually seeing that shit. All right. A lot of you guys don't drink enough water, and you guys don't sleep enough. Now, how I eat in a nutshell: you eat more whole foods, you avoid shit like this. Stop letting food control you. That's some pussy shit. Make a lifestyle, not temporary change, and follow the 90-10 rule. All right. Link is in the description if you guys are interested in coaching. God bless.